Welcome to AM Best Audio.
As cyber threats grow more frequent and sophisticated, cyber insurance has become a critical, yet still evolving component of enterprise risk management, according to Godfrey, a partner at Constangy, Brooks, Smith, and Prophete, in the book, A Practical Guide to Cyber Insurance for Businesses, which she co-edited with Michael Menapace, Tony Scott Reed, and Larry Schiffer. Insurers today are navigating complex challenges, from quantifying rapidly changing exposures to addressing coverage clarity and aggregation risk, while businesses seek more tailored, industry-specific protection in an increasingly digital world. I'm Lori Chortis for AM Best TV, and Lauren Godfrey joins us now to discuss that and other key insights from the book. Lauren, welcome. So great to see you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Lori. Happy to be here.
So, Lauren, can you tell us a bit about the book, the inspiration behind it, and the key takeaways for readers?
Sure, yes. I would be happy to provide some background information on the book. So the idea for the book came about during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. Tony Reed, one of the editors you mentioned, who's also a member of the ABA's Tort Trial and Insurance Practice Section, or TIPS as it's known, who was also a member of the TIPS Book Publishing Board, approached Larry Schiffer. And Larry was the chair of the TIPS Cybersecurity and Data Privacy Committee, and she suggested that the Cyber Committee consider writing a cyber book. The editorial committee was then formed, and then the editorial committee decided there was a need for a book about cyber insurance for commercial businesses, as there were very few, if any, books about cyber insurance. So the book is divided into two parts, and the first 8 chapters focus on the development of cyber insurance and various aspects and elements of cyber insurance that affect all industries, including how cyber insurance interacts with other commercial insurance coverage. And chapters 9 through 25 take a closer look at the cyber risks and cyber insurance coverage needs for specific industries. So in this way, the unique characteristics of each industry segment are highlighted, and a review of cyber insurance for that industry segment is more focused. While not every possible industry segment is covered, the broadness of the industries that are covered should provide guidance to any business.
Well, Lauren, as you mentioned earlier, cyber insurance has historically been less prominent in industry literature, but that's changing rapidly. What factors are driving its evolution and growing importance for insurers today?
Sure. I believe that there are several factors that are driving its evolution and growing importance for insurers. And the top 3 in my mind are: 1, the rising frequency and severity of cyber attacks that we're seeing; the increasing organizational dependence on digital infrastructure, including third-party vendor incidents that impact businesses; and then 3rd, regulatory and compliance pressures and constantly changing statutes and regulations that companies need to comply with.
Customize your data experience. BestLink now offers an interactive company dashboard that provides company-level intelligence in a fast, user-friendly interface featuring interactive tables, charts, and Sparkline performance histories. Customize the dashboard tiles to prioritize the insurer ratings, data, and analytics that best support your workflow. AM Best. Our insight, your advantage.
Lauren, what are the most critical considerations for insurers when underwriting, modeling, pricing, and structuring cyber risk, particularly given how quickly exposures, threats, and loss patterns continue to evolve today?
Sure. So with regard to underwriting in the cyber world, continuous underwriting rather than point-in-time underwriting, I think, is important. This requires continuous monitoring and real-time alerts, and that's due to the rapidly changing threat landscape, data being gathered from reported cyber claims, and the different types of industries that are impacted by incidents. And when I think about modeling, I think it should be based on the various scenarios that we're seeing in incident response efforts. For example, the emergence of new ransomware groups and threat tactics, zero-day exploits, and CVE vulnerabilities. And then with regard to pricing and structuring cyber risk, I think insurers need to take into consideration the various risk factors depending on the industry and the type of data to be considered. For example, in entities that are dealing with personal information, financial information, or protected health information, they carry a greater risk than a company that does not deal with sensitive information. The size of entity's network may also be a consideration with regard to pricing and structuring of cyber risk.
When you think about other commercial lines, how should insurers think about cyber coverage in relation to those other lines? And what are the key challenges you see today around aggregation risk, accumulation, and coverage clarity?
I believe insurers should think about cyber coverage in relation to other commercial lines, not only as standalone or core policies, but also across lines or enterprise-wide exposure management. For example, there may be D&O or director and officer risks that involve failure of management or E&O risks for professional liability. And then some key challenges around aggregation risk, accumulation, and coverage clarity include industry-wide events due to vendor or supply chain vulnerabilities that threat actors exploit. A good example of this is the current Instructure Canvas event impacting the education sector. A challenge around accumulation is the difficulty in assessing a consolidated view of exposures across policy types. And then key challenges regarding coverage clarity include what constitutes a cyber event, as the loss may be due to system failure, human error, as well as business interruption triggers.
And Lauren, looking ahead, how do you expect the cyber insurance market to evolve as threats become more sophisticated, claims grow more complex, and regulatory scrutiny increases?
Sure. I think that the cyber insurance market will require its insureds to have strict security measures in place, like MFA, EDR, backup isolation, and privileged access management in place. A company that has poor hygiene may become uninsurable. And then pricing differentials may exist depending on the security posture, the size, the industry, and the type of data that the company deals with.
Lauren, this has been fascinating, so insightful, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Lori. Appreciate it.
That was Lauren Godfrey, a partner at Constangy, Brooks, Smith & Prophete, and co-editor of the book, A Practical Guide to Cyber Insurance for Businesses. For AM Best TV, I'm Lori Chortis.
Looking to get the full attention of the insurance industry? We have the platforms that will do just that. Whether it be AM Best TV, AM Best Audio, Best Review Magazine, or Best Day. Find out more by calling AM Best Advertising Sales at 908-439-2200, extension 5399, and have a great day.